The House will come to order. This morning, the morning prayer will be said by Johannes Limasal from CU Boulder in Boulder, Colorado, guest of Representative Hooton.
Please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Mr. Randall, please call the roll.
Representatives Arndt, Baisley, Beckman, Benavides, Benavides,
Just go ahead and, yeah.
Benavidez excused. Bird.
But I can give him my phone.
Bockenfeld. Buck. Buckner.
Come around.
Buenteo. Buenteo. Excused. Representative Benavidez is present. Caravale. Carver. Catlin. Coleman. Cutter. Duran.
Thank you. Thank you for coming.
Escar. Good morning. Exum. Froelich. Galindo. Galindo. Excused. Garnett. Geithner. Gonzalez Gutierrez. Gray. Hanson. Herod. Herod. Excused. Hooten. Humphrey. Jackson. Marquez Lewis. Kennedy. Kip. Kraft Tharp. Landgraf. Larson. Lewis. Excused. Liston. Representative Galindo is present. Lontine. McCluskey. McKean. McLaughlin. Belton.
Who's in the chair?
Michelson Janae. Mullica. Neville. Pelton. Ransom. Ransom.
Do you need another calendar?
Excused. Representative Herod is present. Rich. Roberts. Sane. Sandridge. Singer. Sirota. Snyder. Soper. Sullivan. Tipper. Tatone excused. Valdez A. Valdez D. Van Winkle. Representative Ransom is present. Van Winkle. Weissman. Will. Williams. Wilson. Madam Speaker.
I am here with 58 present, 7 excused. We have a quorum. Representative McCluskey.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. What a joy it is to serve with you.
You as well, Representative. Thank you.
I move that the Journal of Friday, April 5th, 2019 be approved as corrected by the Chief Clerk.
You have heard the motion. That was a little premature. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed say no.
No!
The motion passes. Announcements and introductions. Representative Duran.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I'd like to remind everybody that tomorrow there is a family rally at 11:30 in the West Foyer. And also, please remember to wear purple in support of our family bill. Thank you.
Representative Soper.
Well, thank you, Madam Speaker. I just wanted to say it was a real thrill to walk in and see the chamber brighter than normal. So I think it's good to point that out. Thank you.
Any other announcements or introductions? Any other announcements and introductions? Seeing none. The next order of business is third reading, final passage. Mr. Randall, please read the title of Senate Bill 214.
Senate Bill 214 by Senator Rankin, also Representatives Escar and Ransom, concerning capital-related transfers of money.
Majority Leader Garnett.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I move for the passage of Senate Bill 214 on third reading and final passage.
The question before us is the passage of Senate Bill 214 on third reading and final passage. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, Mr. Randall, please open the machine and members, please vote. Carver, Catlin, Galindo, Gonzalez Gutierrez, Representative Coleman, please vote. We'll just close the machine. Please excuse Representative Galindo. I don't know where. Please close the machine. With 55 yes, 6 no, and 4 excused, Senate Bill 214 is passed. Co-sponsors. Representative Galindo, that's a $1 fine. Please close the machine. Mr. Randall, please read the title of House Bill 1168.
House Bill 1168 by Representatives McCloskey and Rich, all Senators Donovan and Rankin, concerning the creation of the Colorado Reinsurance Program to provide reinsurance payments to health insurers to aid in paying high-cost insurance claims in connection with authorizing the Commissioner of Insurance to seek approval from the federal government to waive applicable federal requirements, request federal funds, or both enable the state to implement the program, making a program contingent upon waiver of funding approval and making an appropriation.
Majority Leader Garnett.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I move for the passage of House Bill 1168 on third reading and final passage.
The question before us is the passage of House Bill 1168 on third reading and final passage. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, Mr. Randall, please open the machine and members, please vote. Representative Galindo is present. Please close the machine. With 47 aye votes, 15 no votes, and 3 excused, House Bill 1168 is passed. Co-sponsors. Please close the machine. Mr. Randall, please read the title of House Bill 1246.
House Bill 1246, Representatives Van Winkle and Kraft Tharp, all Senators Cook and Moreno, concerning the regulation of food truck businesses by local governments.
Majority Leader Garnett.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I move for the passage of House Bill 1246 on third reading and final passage.
The question before us is the passage of House Bill 1246 on third reading and final passage. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, Mr. Randall, please open the machine and members, please vote. Arndt and Carver. Carver. Please close the machine. With 62 aye votes and 3 excused, House Bill 1246 is passed. Co-sponsors. Please close the machine. Mr. Randall, please read the title of House Bill 1254.
House Bill 1254 by Representatives McLaughlin and Van Winkle, all Senators Fields and Priola, concerning the notice of requirements of employers with regard to the sharing of gratuities.
Majority Leader Garnett.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I move for the passage of House Bill 1254 on third reading and final passage.
The question before us is the passage of House Bill 1254 on third reading and final passage. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, Mr. Randall, please open the machine and members, please vote. Please close the machine. With 48 aye votes, 14 no votes, and 3 excused, House Bill 1254 is passed. Co-sponsors. Please close the machine. Mr. Randall, please read the title of House Bill 1256.
House Bill 1256 by Representatives Gray and Snyder, all Senator Todd, concerning electronic filing of certain taxes.
Majority Leader Garnett.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I move for the passage of House Bill 1256 on third reading and final passage.
The question before us is the passage of House Bill 1256 on third reading and final passage. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, Mr. Randall, please open the machine and members, please vote. Representative Ransom, please close the machine. With 62 aye votes, 0 no votes, and 3 excused, House Bill 1256 is passed. Co-sponsors. Please close the machine. Mr. Randall, please read the title of House Bill 1274.
House Bill 1274 by Representative Snyder, all Senator Heisey, concerning the ability of the boards of county commissioners to delegate to county administrative officials certain land use determinations affecting subdivision platting.
Majority Leader Garnett.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I move for the passage of House Bill 1274 on third reading and final passage.
The question before us is the passage of House Bill 1274 on third reading and final passage. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, Mr. Randall, please open the machine and members, please vote. Please close the machine. With 51 aye votes, 11 no votes, and 3 excused, House Bill 1274 is passed. Co-sponsors. Please close the machine. Mr. Randall, please read the title of House Bill 1286.
House Bill 1286 by Representatives Kraft, and Liston, also Senator Todd, concerning limiting the number of people who may sell vehicles to dealers under a wholesaler's license issued by the Motor Vehicle Dealer Board.
Majority Leader Garnett.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I move for the passage of House Bill 1286 on third reading and final passage.
The question before us is the passage of House Bill 1286 on third reading and final passage. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, Mr. Randall, please open the machine and members, please vote. Please close the machine. With 56 aye votes, 6 no votes, and 3 excused, House Bill 1286 is passed. Co-sponsors. Please close the machine. Mr. Randall, please read the title of Senate Bill 183.
Senate Bill 183 by Senators Priola and Todd, also Representatives Michelson, Janay, and Wilson, concerning creation of voluntary alternate process for dissolution and annexation in the territory of a school district under specified circumstances.
Majority Leader Garnett.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I move for the passage of Senate Bill 183 on third reading and final passage.
The question before us is the passage of Senate Bill 183 on third reading and final passage. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, Mr. Randall, please open the machine and members, please vote. Please close the machine. With 62 aye votes, no no votes, and 3 excused, Senate Bill 183 is passed. Co-sponsors.
So nervous. I woke up this morning, I'm like, why am I so
Please close the machine. Mr. Randall, please read the title of Senate Bill 52.
Senate Bill 52 by Senator Garcia, also Representative Mollica, concerning expansion of an emergency medical service provider scope of practice.
Majority Leader Garnett.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I move for the passage of Senate Bill 52 on third reading and final passage.
The question before us is the passage of Senate Bill 52 on third reading and final passage. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, Mr. Randall, please open the machine and members, please vote. Humphrey and Jackson. Please close the machine. With 62 aye votes, no no votes, and 3 excused, Senate Bill 52 is passed. Co-sponsors. Please close the machine. The next order of business is General Order, second reading of bills. Representative Kipp. You have heard the motion. Seeing no objection, Representative Kipp will take the chair.
The committee will come to order. With your unanimous consent, the bills will be read by title unless there is a request for reading a bill at length. Committee amendments will not be read unless requested, as they are printed in your bill folders. Floor amendments will be shown on the screen and on your iPads and not read unless requested. Bills will be laid over upon motion of the majority leader. The coat rule is relaxed. Mr. Assistant Majority Leader, my apologies.
No worries. Thank you, Madam Chair. I move to proceed out of order for the consideration of Senate Bill 144.
Seeing no objection, all in favor? Oh, we don't have to vote? Okay. Seeing no objection, we'll proceed out of order. Mr. Connor, can you please read the title of SB 19-144?
Senate Bill 144 by Senator Zenzinger, also Representative Roberts, concerning allowing a driver of a motorcycle to proceed past a malfunctioning traffic control signal.
Sorry, Representative Roberts.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Good to see you up there. I move Senate Bill 144, and there is no committee report.
To the bill.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Senate Bill 144 is a bill that was brought to us by many hundreds of our constituents who ride motorcycles. Cars right now, when they approach a stoplight, a lot of these stoplights have these underground coils that detect a mass of metal, and that's what gets them to trigger the light so that it changes. Motorcycles do not have enough metal to trigger those changes. So what this bill would do would allow for motorcycles to proceed after several time cycles in a safe manner through a red light if the red light is not detecting the motorcycle being present. Cars already have this ability. This bill simply adds motorcycles to that list so that they can abide by the laws and proceed safely on the road. I would ask for an aye vote.
Is there any, Representative D. Valdez.
Thank you, Madam Chair. It's an honor to serve with you. My question is, does this bill, Senate Bill 144, also apply to scooters? And maybe we can talk about this.
Representative Roberts.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I don't believe that bill has passed yet, so scooters are still toys under Colorado law, so this would not apply.
Is there any further discussion? Seeing none, the question before us is the passage of SB 19-144. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Those opposed? SB 19-144 passes. Mr. Assistant Majority Leader.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I move to lay over House Bill 1267 one day.
Seeing no objection, HB 19-1267 will be laid over one day. HB 19-1189, Mr. Connor, will you please read the bill? Mr. Randall, will you please read the title of the bill?
House Bill 1189 by Representatives Gray and Valdez A. House Senator Bridges, concerning wage garnishment reform and in connection therewith reducing disposal earnings by health insurance premiums, reducing the amounts subject to garnishment, providing more detailed information to the judgment debtor regarding garnishment.
Representative Gray.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I move House Bill 1189 and the Finance Committee report.
To the committee report. Mr. Representative Gray.
Thank you, Madam Chair. House Bill 1189 in the in the Finance Committee, we compromised basically from the original version of this bill to the point where it is right now today. The initial the purpose of this bill, and Representative Valdez will discuss in just a moment, the purpose of this bill is to provide relief to folks whose wages are being garnished within the state to pay debts. Within the Finance Committee, through negotiation with the debt collectors and many other parties, none of whose position I'm going to communicate to you, but we may basically cut all of the benefits we were giving to folks who are being garnished in half. So instead of going from 25% to 15%, we went from 25 to 20. Same thing with respect to the multiplication factor for the minimum wage that is used to set a floor for wage garnishment. And so we solidified that compromise that we were able to reach, and I'd ask for an aye vote.
Is there any, Representative Sandrich.
To the bill. Wait. To the bill?
Oh, okay. Apparently, to the bill, okay. Or we need to vote on this first, though, the committee report. So, is there any further discussion on the committee report? Seeing none, the question before us is the committee report for judiciary for HB 19-1189. Oh, that was finance? Sorry, finance report for 1189. All in favor? Aye. All opposed? The committee report passes. To the bill. Representative Valdez.
Thank you, Madam Chair. So this bill is great. We did a lot of stakeholding to get it to the point where we have the support of the creditors on this. Basically what it does is helps people. This is probably the most harsh form of debt collection that's used in the state of Colorado, and we pale behind many other states in the United States in our reforms we've put into place. Garnishment overwhelmingly affects lower income people. So what this does is it creates a few things. First, it requires a clearer notice, giving people time to get their affairs in order and potentially negotiate something other than a garnishment. It reduces the amount of disposable earnings that are subject to garnishment, and it also creates a hardship exemption, so those who would be harmed unduly by wage garnishment have some sort of ability to get in front of a judge and have a judge potentially give them some relief. So this is a great bill. Urge and I vote. Thank you.
Thank you, Representative Valdez. Representative Liston.
Thank you, Madam Chairman. To the bill sponsor, I'm curious now with the changes, so what will be the maximum or the minimum allowable of wage garnishment? Do you have an answer? I'm just curious.
Representative Gray.
Thank you. Thank you, Madam Chair. As set forth in the Finance Committee report, the maximum amount of garnishment would be 20% of a person's disposable income. That's not the exact term, but there's some things that are cut out from that. And the floor where you couldn't garnish below it would be 40 times the hourly minimum wage. So basically, if you're working full-time at minimum wage, they can't be garnished at that point, but then you could garnish wages above roughly the equivalent of what you would make working full-time at minimum wage.
Representative Beckman.
Thank you, Madam Chair. One of the concerns that we had with this bill in committee was that it is retroactive. Because garnishments are looked at, I believe, every 6 months, the amount of garnishment could be changed, and there was such a lack of concern for the victim, the person who was getting revenue from the garnishment. Often they are also low income. Often they are depending on that revenue to pay for such basic, rent and food and, helping their kids buy school supplies. And this would change that garnishment for them that some of them have been depending on for many, many, many years. There was a testimony of a young man who was so credible that he used his garnishment to buy an upgraded wheelchair. He'd been shot, and his garnishment was to help him live, and he was afraid that he would no longer be able to pay for the basic needs that he had. This bill is retroactive, so it's not going forward. Garnishments are going to be lowered for everything in existence currently when it is brought back to the court. And that was a big concern because it's retroactive. There is no concern for the victim. And this isn't the IRS, this isn't taxes. Those are still going to be under different garnishment fees, but I think everyone needs to understand that people are going to be notified that depend on this money for their basic living, that their garnishment that they are getting because they are the victim of a debt not paid, that number is going to be lowered. And so I would ask for a no vote on the bill. I do hope that the sponsors would look at it again. It would be a much better bill if it was just for garnishments moving forward.
Representative Valdez.
Thank you, Madam Chair. And so it is not retroactive. A garnishment has to be renewed periodically. Upon renewal, the new rules would apply only in the situations that we discussed in the beginning of the bill. So I urge and I vote.
Representative Sandridge.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I listened to this in the committee, and the bill has shown some improvements. I know that the sponsors have been working diligently. We just come back and I come back to a final premise. Anytime these bills come up, I actually contact our business owners in my community, especially the ones on my block where I live. And, they suffer when people don't pay their debts. The bills still keep coming for the business owners. And when I say business owners, I mean the big example I have is real estate, rental properties. The bills still keep coming in, but if you don't get the money from your customers, the money's got to come somewhere for the real estate property owners to pay their bills. So I just want to add caution, maybe give a little pause back and think about the government getting involved between a customer and a business owner. Usually doesn't turn out very well. And like I said before, business owners, the first 5 years of any small business, 50% of them collapse. They don't need additional pressure. They need to get paid. And we need to show these job makers some respect and take care of them as well. Thank you.
Representative Rich.
Thank you. Thank you, Madam Chair. We heard this bill in finance, and I stand in opposition to this bill. For purposes of determining ability to pay a debt, the bill treats a single man with no dependents who grosses $40,000, the same as a single mom with 4 children who grosses $40,000. Clearly, the disposable income and ability to pay will be different. Also, additionally, the bill would unnecessarily burden the courts by forcing consumers to file a claim of exemption with the courts to seek a hardship exemption. Consumers should have a way to request additional exemptions from the creditor without having to spend financial resources going to court. I ask for a no vote.
Representative Benavides.
Members, I join with the last 3 of my colleagues in opposition to this bill. We had heated discussion about this. We had witnesses that testified on this bill about making it retroactive. With a wage garnishment, so you understand, is that a wage garnishment can go for 6 months and then it can be renewed for another 6 months and continue. And we heard testimony that there are people out there that may have funds to resolve this but don't want to, because the only amount that can be garnished is 25% of their disposable wages. So as a result, they're willing to continue the garnishments for an unlimited amount of time. So if someone was relying on those amounts of dollars, if we pass this bill, which does make those already initiated garnishments subject to this bill, they receive significantly less, because the amount of disposable earnings goes down from 25% to 20%. And as one of my colleagues mentioned, we had someone who came in a wheelchair saying he was getting money, and we don't know if that was restitution or through a judgment, but he had ongoing wage garnishments against the debtor. And if those went down by additional 5%, it could be a good $200 less that he would have to live on every month. And it just isn't fair that generally our laws are not retroactive. But effectively with garnishments, because of the unique way it's handled in the law, that it has to be reinitiated every 6 months, it is effectively retroactive to those ongoing garnishments. You know, and we had hoped there would be an amendment to this, and there wasn't, unfortunately. But without that, we do put some people in really difficult situations. So I would encourage a no vote to this bill.
Representative Gray.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Thank you, members. Just to clarify a couple of things that folks talked about up here. One, with respect to this treats everybody the same regardless of their circumstances. That has been the request from the debt collection agencies this entire session. There are other bills that were proposed that would have treated different types of debtors and different types of debt separately. We were told in committee that they believe that to be unconstitutional. They believe that that is a restriction on access to justice. I'm not sure whether I agree with that or not, but the request that we received was to not treat different creditors differently. Also, This does not affect criminal restitution. If you're ordered to pay money because somebody is a victim of a crime, this has nothing to do with that. This doesn't affect fraud relating to public benefits. This doesn't affect all of those child support. It doesn't affect all of those special cases where we have exceeding public policy and making sure the payments get made. This is the general debt wage garnishment statute. All of those things have their own specialized protections, and they aren't amended whatsoever by this bill. Thanks.
Representative Bockenfeld.
Thank you, Madam Chair. It's an honor to serve with you.
Honor to serve with you.
I'm going to also ask for a no vote on this bill, and I'm going to do it from a creditor standpoint, because sometimes when you're evaluating credit, you're evaluating the risk, and by changing these garnishment rules, you're increasing the risk to the creditor. And when you have someone who comes in, and most of these people probably are marginal credits to start with, by increasing the risk to the creditor, you're going to get more turn downs when these people need a hand up to get some extra credit. So I'm going to ask you to vote no for that purpose. Thank you.
Representative Benavides.
Thank you, Madam Chair. And members, there was a witness who said this could possibly be unconstitutional, but didn't make much of a case for that. Because this, again, this treatment of someone who has initiated a garnishment is unique that I know of in the law, because it has to be reinitiated. And it was a small change to this bill, but an important change for the people that were in this position. So I think the sponsor is correct. It doesn't apply to things like child support. There's other restrictions on garnishment, but that's not in the bill. But the types of debt that this does apply to is in the bill. So I, again, would restate that I encourage a no vote on this bill.
Is there any further discussion? Seeing none, the question before us is the passage of HB 19-1189. All those in favor say aye. Aye. All those opposed? No. The ayes have it. The motion passes. Assistant Majority Leader.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I move the committee rise and report.
Okay.
Seeing no objection, the committee will...
Seeing no objection, the committee will rise and report.
House will come back to order. Mr. Randall, please read the report of the Committee of the Whole.
Madam Speaker, your committee of the whole begs the lead has under its report the consideration following testimony in secondary and thanks to recommendations there on House Bill 1189's minute passing was placing out of third and final passage. Senate Bill 144 is passed second reading revised placing on third and final passage. House Bill 1267 is laid over until April 9, 2019, retaining its place on the calendar.
Representative Kipp. You have heard the motion. Seeing no objection, Mr. Randall, please open the machine and members, please vote. Hooten, Jaquez Lewis, Kipp, Lontine, Tipper, Wilson, Baisley, Buckner, Catlin. Please close the machine. With 43 aye votes, 19 no votes, and 3 excused, the report of the Committee of the Whole is passed. Announcements. Senate amendments. Okay. The next, Assistant Majority Leader Kennedy.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I move we proceed out of order for consideration of Senate amendments to House bills.
Seeing no objection, we'll proceed out of order for consideration of Senate amendments. Mr. Randall, please read House Bill 1224.
House Bill 1224 by Representative Harrod, also by Representative Harrod, also Senator Winter, concerning providing free menstrual hygiene products to people in custody.
Representative Harrod.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I move that the House concur with Senate amendments to House Bill 1224.
Please proceed.
I mean, if you guys want me to talk about which products can and can't be used in jail, I will. But for now, I'm going to keep it short and just ask for an aye vote on the motion.
Thank you, Representative Harrod. The question before the House is to concur with Senate amendments to House Bill 1224. Is there any further discussion? Anyone? Going once? Going twice? Mr. Randall, please open the machine and members, please vote. Coleman and Arndt. Okay. Please close the machine. With 62 aye votes, no votes, and 3 excused, the motion to concur with Senate amendments is passed. Assistant Majority Leader Kennedy.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I move for the repassage of House Bill 1224 as amended.
The question before the House is the repassage of House Bill 1224 as amended. Any further discussion? Seeing none, Mr. Randall, please open the machine and members, please vote. Please close the machine. With 62 aye votes, no votes, and 3 excused, House Bill 1224 is repassed as amended. Co-sponsors. Please close the machine. Announcements and introductions. Any announcements or introductions? I have one. Representative Williams will replace Representative Lewis in Rural Affairs and Agriculture today only. Representative Wilson. Okay, I'll make another announcement. Representative Mollica will replace Representative Buenteo on Rural Affairs today only. Representative Exum will replace Representative Tatone on Rural Affairs today only. Wow, you have like all new people in your committee today, Representative Roberts. Okay, Representative Wilson. Maryland.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Colleagues, we're getting down the last few days of this session. Yay. But the stress keeps getting higher, and we pray about that on Tuesday mornings. We'll be back downstairs. So we've got food fellowship. Come on down.
Representative Herod.
Thank you. Representative Wilson, you might want to stay for 1 sec. Come stand next to me here. I'd like you guys to take the fashion notes of the metallic jackets with the satin finish. If you'd like to know where we got these jackets from and would like to join us on the next metallic satin day, please let us know. It'll be on Mondays.
Representative Wilson.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Just to clarify, Representative Herod is not as old as I am. I knew Elvis.
Well, have them go to the side. Okay, go for it.
We're good. Oh. All right, thank you. Members of Finance Committee, we have a long night tonight. Please be sure to be fed. I want to make one change. We will hear 1280 first, Herod and Speaker Becker, and then right after 1280, we'll hear 1263, Herod and Sandridge. So 1263 will be moved up to second. The rest of the calendar will stay intact. Thank you.
Representative Jackson.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Members of Energy and Environment, we have a couple of bills. House Bill 1292 and House Bill 1272, our regular room 130.
Representative Jackson.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Having spoken to the Majority Leader, I request permission to be excused starting at noon on Friday, April 12th.
Permission is granted. Representative Roberts.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Rural Affairs and Agriculture and all of our special guests, we have a meeting today, 1:30, room 107. We have one bill on the calendar, House Bill 1271. And then the Capital Development Committee, we are meeting tomorrow morning at 7:30 in Senate Room 357.
Representative Hansen.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Members of House Appropriations, we almost have the long bill in our rear view mirror, so that means more excitement on House Appropriations. We are going to be meeting tomorrow morning, 8 a.m. gavel. 8 a.m. gavel. We'll meet again on Friday at 7:30 gavel. More information coming on that one. We've got a few bills that we're going to add to the calendar for tomorrow. Senate Bill 1, Senate Bill 65, Senate Bill 139, House Bills 1259, 1266, and 1261. House Appropriations Committee members, you can expect your packets on your floor desk late afternoon today. Thanks so much.
Any other announcements or introductions? Majority Leader Garnett.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I move that the House stand in recess until later today.
Seeing no objection, the House will be in recess till later today.